Hey guys, I'm back with the second part. Hopefully we won't need a third. If you hear noise, I'm very sorry, but they're changing my neighbor's screen door and pounding like crazy. So where we left off, we just made this, I don't know what the heck you want to call these, O-rings with the hook from wire. This is another piece. I'm going to show you how to do it again really quick. You want to put the wire in between your round-nosed pliers and you know, pinch it in there, and basically what you're doing is wrapping it around the bigger part of your plier. You're wrapping it around once, you're pulling it out, okay, so it looks like this. You're going to put your pliers in again, and you're going to wrap it around the second time. Okay, you basically want it wrapped around twice. Okay, so it ends up looking like this, and you may have to adjust it a little bit. Okay, so I kind of want this in the center. This part here I want in the center. So I just turn this a little bit. Okay, kind of like that. So now I have a second one. Alright, so let's get started. What I'm first going to do is weave in some of this material. Now I use scraps to make my all scraps. Like this was a scrap piece that I used here. This was a scrap piece. This was a scrap piece of eyelet trim, and all I basically did was cut the eyelet part off. This will not go to waste because I'm going to use this for my tags. Okay, so I'm left with this piece. Now I want to fray the material out a little bit, so I'll end up using my pliers, and I'll pull on it to fray the ends. It's just easier for me that way. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. But this is how a lot of times I get material to fray. If it doesn't fray with my finger by just pulling on it, I'll go in with a pair of pliers and really get in there and fray it out. So I thought I'd share that with you really quick. Okay, so then once I have it frayed, I'm gonna weave it onto my pin. So I just poke the gauge through, and I basically go down the center of the material the same way I would with my needle when we're doing a single stitch or a center stitch on our material. I just weave it in and out. Okay, then I'll push it up to the top, and I'll kind of twist my material a little bit, see what kind of a look I get, and I like that look. So actually I think I want to put my bead first this time. So I'm going to use a bead cap, then I'm going to use my bead, okay, then I'm going to weave my material. So I'm going to try and go back in the same holes. That's not easy all the time, but this is the fun of it. You know, you can experiment, change your mind, do something else. Just make sure you don't glue anything together until you have the exact look that you want, because I've done that and ended up not liking it. So I'll twist my material around, and then I'll just push it up, and I'll see if I like that. Okay, and if I do, I just use a little bit of hot glue. Pull it back down, add a little bit of hot glue to my top of my bead here, or the bottom of my bead, and I'll push the material down onto it. And that pretty much secures the bead as well. So that's what it looks like, guys, and I think I want to add that right to my cork. Twist that bottom a little bit. So I'm gonna start my hole with the wire before I even push it in. It just makes it easier. See how I'm pushing my plier in and making a hole? Okay, so I don't need this long piece. I'm gonna cut some of this off. I'm going to start it back in the same hole I started, okay? And then usually I will put glossy accents on the wire. Let me get my pin. And I'll start pushing it down into the cork. Okay guys, so that's what it looks like. Now we're going to add the bottom piece. You could do another wire like this, but to speed up the process, I'm going to use one of these so you can see how I do it. I just basically start screwing it into the center of the cork. I'll add a little bit of glossy accent and push it in the rest of the way. Whoop! I'm all thumbs today. Okay, then when you're pushing it in, you want to make sure it lines up with this, not that it's sideways. Okay, so that's in pretty secure. Just wipe it off, make sure there's no excess glossy accents or anything like that. Now I want to do my beads and charms. And a lot of times I'll use just these straight pins and I'll make my own loops and chains. Okay, so we want to make a loop to start out here. Let me get these pliers. So here's my loop, and I'm just gonna start it. I'm not gonna close it up yet, but it looks like that. Okay. I think my first one I want to be pearl. So I'm gonna put my pearl and my bead caps on. I'm going to create a loop at the bottom here so I can hang another one. So I'm using these pliers again and wrapping my wire around and creating a loop. Do you guys see how I did that? I'm going to cut the excess off. And finish tightening up my loop here. And you got to just play around with it and see what works, you know, best for you. Just make sure this sharp end, see this sharp end, that it's folded down and can't poke anybody or, you know, cut anybody's fingers, including your own. But I made my little loop there, okay, and I got my loop at the top. Now I haven't closed this completely because I'm going to connect it to this one. Okay, see how I hung it there? Now I want to close it up to secure it. I really hope you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm really trying to get it on camera here for you, and it's kind of hard doing this away from my, I usually have it like right up against my face when I'm working on it. Basically you want to close that around so that it can't come off. Okay, can you guys see that? Okay, so our first bead is hung. Now we want to hang another one. So I think I want to make my life easier and just use one that already has a loop on the bottom. And put my bead cap, my bead, there goes my phone, another bead cap. Okay. I'm actually going to stick this one in the loop already and loop it down. And I'm going to make my loop while it's on there. So I want to twist this around with the pliers and create a secure loop. Cut the excess off. See how I already started that? Gonna cut the excess off here, or try to. This is a little tricky for me, but it's so fun to just fiddle around and make loops and like I said, make sure that you have that one piece secure, that it's not going to poke anybody. Whoop. Yeah, I've been saying whoop a lot lately. Okay. There we go. So now we have this one and this one hanging, and I think I really want to hang this bird cage charm with the bird. So what I'm going to do is just open this loop up a little bit that was already on there and hang my bird cage. Take my pliers and close it back up. That's it, guys. We've already made the cork charm. They're really, really easy to make. They're not hard as long as you know how to make your loops and things like that. I may add some gesso to it. I may even take this piece that I used and shred it out and tie it around here. Okay, if I tie it, I usually tie it around this one and just make one knot and put some glue there so that it stays. I may do that, I'm not sure, but there we go. We just made one. Now if you want to add, you can just leave it like this if you wanted to, or you can add one of your, you know, swivel clasps to it. This is already pretty long, so I'm pretty much just gonna put probably one of these O-rings on it, and that way whoever gets it just needs to open this O-ring right back up to hang it on whatever project they want to hang it on. So I'll probably end up doing that. Or you can take the chain off of this, okay, and just put the clasps on. It's entirely up to you how you want to do it, okay. But that's my altar cork charm. I may put some gesso on it. If I do that, I just kind of shake a little bit on my finger, put it down on my mat to get the excess off, and I'll just go around and kind of just do it all over. I don't like to completely cover it because I love the design and the print on this cork, but I'll rub it on the wire and rub it on the cork. You guys can see that? Okay. And I may rub some on here, rub some down here. It just depends. But alright, so we assembled the cork. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And I hope that helped, and have fun making yours. Take care.